Hey guys, so today I would like to talk about a DIY project I did over the weekend. Basically, it's a makeshift temple. I'm not really the most religious guy, but my mom likes this sort of stuff, so I made this for her. And it's not a traditional temple that you see in homes. This was basically a floating table slash shelf that I found on Wayfair on sale for about $70. And the trick was, one of the major things was hanging this thing up and making a few modifications. Now, I wasn't able to record what I did for the modifications, but basically I just had to go out and rent a wood saw and I cut up some of the pieces. I'm just going to open this and show you. Since I was doing this alone, generally it would be nice to have two or, I'd even say three people, because what you would need to do is you have to sort of level this thing where you can take measurements. Now, that's one of the places, and all these are hung onto the wall using wall anchors. I've not drilled into the studs. Now, I live in a condo, so we've got metal studs over here. And I don't usually like, for some reason I don't feel they're as secure as wooden studs. So that is something that I wasn't willing to do. And wall anchors do the job just as well. It's just that, you just have to be careful of rocking this thing or, putting too much weight on the table or anything. So, but other than that, it's, touch wood, it is really sturdy and it's staying pretty well on the wall. So now I'm going to show you some of the tools I used, and the tools are, I'll start with this. This is probably the most important one. It's a stud finder, and I'll make a video soon showing you how to use this. And the other things are a hammer, screwdriver. This is a hammer drill with a drill setting, and that's a bit that I used to drive in the concrete, in the drywall. You might not be able to see it, but it's behind that screw there. And that's, pretty much when you're trying to put in heavy duty wall anchors, it's better to have something like that just to screw in. And then this is just your standard impact driver, sorry. So I'm going to show you in another video how to, use this and show you some of the wall anchors that I used. Oh, and another two things that were important for me is a scale. Now, that scale was basically just to measure the dimensions from, these guys here, and then there is two other spots, these guys here, and those are driven into the wall as well using the wall anchors. So it's a good thing to measure and remeasure using something like this. Now, this ruler has sort of an inbuilt level that I like to use, because when I'm sort of drawing lines onto the wall, it's a good thing to see if this is centered. And luckily for me, it worked out fine. I did the measurements twice and they lined up pretty well. So I'm going to show you how to use this very soon. Hey guys, so now to this part, I'm going to talk about a few more tools, and then I'm going to show you how to use the Walabot stud finder that I have. So of course I forgot to mention that you need a tape measure. Now, the reason I use a tape measure is because I want to center this table as much as I can, right? So I'm going to show you a pretty cool trick that I learned. So the first thing is I want to get the dimension of the wall that I'll be putting this table on, right? So that was 54 inches, and this shelf itself is, it's roughly 23 point, I'd say 23.75 inches. So now when you want two equal spaces, then you use the formula, basically the length of the wall minus the length of the object divided by the number of spaces will give you the equal amount of spaces. So in my case, since it's 2, what I would do is 54 minus 23.75, which is 23.75 is 30.25. That divided by 2 is 15.125 inches. That would be two equal spaces, right? So ideally, that's what I want to look for. So once you do that, right, then we want to see if this edge, right, that's where that would be 15.125, and then we want to see if at this point from here, from about 8.25 inches from that point, that's basically this edge to this first screw where the anchor would be, just 23.375 inches away from this point. I want to see if there's a stud there, because I don't want to hit a stud or a wire. I need to take that measurement to make sure there's nothing behind it, and that's where this comes into play, the Walabot. Now, this is a very informative stud finder. You can learn more about it on YouTube, but it's much better than getting a $5 stud finder from Home Depot or Canadian Tire, because this thing will not only tell you where the studs are, it also tells you if you have pipes or electrical wires or any of that sort of stuff behind your drywall or concrete wall. And that's really important, because you don't want to hit a pipe or a wire and cause a problem, because you'd be liable for it, right? Especially if you're renting. So the way this works is it only works with Android. You need an Android phone. It unfortunately does not work with iPhone. And it comes with the wire that you connect to the device into your phone, and it comes with a partner app. So I don't know if you can see it. This is the app, and once I start the app, it'll ask me, it'll just give me this quick tutorial, and it'll ask me what sort of wall I have. Now, I do have mostly drywall and probably one concrete wall in the condo, and this one is a drywall. So I'll just use stud wall, drywall, and now it asks you to calibrate the wall. That's probably their thing, which it needs to find out what sort of material the wall is. I don't know, but to calibrate, what you do is you just hold this, press this button down, okay, and then you start the calibration, and this is all you would do. Okay, now the calibration is complete. You get 3 options: pan, images, and expert. Now I don't really use the expert option, but I use a combination of the pan and the image option. The pan will just give you a general idea of what's behind the drywall. So I'll hit that first. So it just tells me how much I've scanned, and so I found, I don't know if you can see it, but I found two studs already, the ones in red. And that's probably like a third one. So see that, it just tells you how much you've scanned, and roughly 25 centimeters, like, I don't know, 20 centimeters from this side that I hit a stud. So what I would do now is just use the images, and this is like the best thing. This will tell you where there's, so that's like I found like a wire. It says pipe or wire. Unfortunately, it can't tell the difference, but you know, that is diagonal, right? That's most likely a wire because they don't have water pipes running diagonally. Now, almost always when you have an electrical socket in the wall, you'll definitely find a wire. And now that I have metal studs, because it's a condo and mostly that's what they use, you're definitely going to find a metal stud. It even goes as much to show you like where exactly on the stud you are, if you're in the center or far left or right. Now that's a place I want to avoid, and luckily the center of this screw, like it's just past a wire over here, so I make sure don't hit that wire. And here I was so fortunate that there was nothing behind, and even towards this side I guess I just miss a stud. Yeah, see, that's where the stud is, but the screw I want to put is just before it. So I was really lucky. And even down where the other two places are, I did not hit a stud. Now, the good thing is that because there's an electrical wire or stud, you know, you can just put the wall anchors in. And generally, these are the wall anchors that I use. Now these, I'm not going to, maybe in another project I'll show you how to drill a hole in the drywall and stick these in. But the idea is that these are heavy duty anchors. You know, they can withstand probably up to, I'd say 40 pounds. That's if you have 4, so that's about 10 pounds each. So 40 pounds is roughly like 18 kgs, which is, you know, I think, yeah, that's about 17 or 18 kilos, I'm not sure. But that's a good amount. But what people, the big mistake people do is they don't have the right tools and they start hammering this part right into the drywall. Don't do that, because I've done that and I've paid the price. Basically, if you try to hammer it directly without there being any hole or in the wall, it's going to break through the drywall and it's going to take a chunk out. So when that happens, you have to fill the drywall if you want it in that spot, or just choose another spot to hang the thing, and that, you know, that's pretty much the project is over. So don't do that. What you would do is you would drill a tiny hole of the right bit, and for my use, this was the perfect size. You know, it almost matches the thickness of this. It's always better to go one size smaller. And then once you drill, like you can see from the white sort of the drywall that's stuck on the bit, I only needed this much to drill through, which till I got through. So after that point, after you make the hole, then you can slightly put this in that hole and gently hammer till you reach the spiral part. And after you gently reach this part, stop hammering in. Then you would just take a screwdriver and you would just drive it into, not an automatic one, just a manual one like this, and then you would drive it into the flush into the wall. So in another project, I'm definitely going to show you how to do this. Just now, it's that I don't want to drill any holes in the wall. But that's another important thing. And yeah, pretty much that's all to hang this thing in. And of course, you know, just always learn the right techniques for measuring everything, because the problem with this is, especially if you're doing it alone, you want to take measurements just because these parts are here, and what you'll have to do is, there's no easy way to put wall anchors in and then measure the rest of it. You have to put all the wall anchors in so that you can hang this. Otherwise, once you've already screwed this in, it's not going to be possible, right? So just get a good ruler, and always, even a small one like this will help. And always when you start measuring, always start in the center of the circle, not on this side or this side. It should always be in the center, the centermost point. And yeah, and for the next video, I'll just probably, once I get a few things to put in, I'll start putting in all the lights and idols and stuff like that. It's going to be really, really cool. So thank you for watching, and I hope you like this DIY project. If you have any questions, please feel free to DM me.